don't even know where to start after what we just saw at. Seriously, this weekend had two completely different kinds of chaos, and both of them are going to stick with NASCAR fans for a long time. One of them, pure frustration, the kind that makes you sit there at your screen like, what just happened? The other, that emotional goosebumps type moment that reminds you exactly why we love this sport in the first place. Music and the part, both of these stories unfolded on the same track in the same race just hours apart, and they could not feel more different. If you are a real NASCAR fan, you already know days like this can shift momentum, change seasons, and even redefine how we look at certain drivers moving forward. So yeah, we got to talk about this. Music. And hey, before we dive in, if you are new here, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. This channel is just getting started. We are pushing for 11,000 subs, and if you live and breathe NASCAR like we do every single week, you are definitely in the right place. Let's get into it. Because the first story out of is honestly one of the most confusing and aggressive moments we have seen in a while. It all went down late in the race at Speedway on lap 324. Music, we had a restart. Tempers already high like they always are at this short track. And then suddenly Bubba just absolutely shoves heading into turn 3. And I am not talking about a normal bump and run. I am talking multiple hits. Gets into the back of number 77 once, then again, and then just drives straight through him. Next thing you know, the whole field behind them has nowhere to go. Massive pileup, cars stacking up down the front stretch. A huge chunk of the NASCAR Cup Series field taken out in seconds. And here is the thing that has fans scratching their heads. When you look at the replay, did not really do anything that screamed retaliation worthy. Yeah, they went 3 wide earlier into turn 1 and clearly did not like that, but this felt like a huge escalation. Even admitted it afterward in his interview with Little on Fox Sports. He said, "I misjudged. I did not mean to turn him." Music, he mentioned that earlier moment going 3 wide, but still he owned that he got it wrong in the center of the corner, but the damage was already done. Somehow salvaged a 15th place finish, which is honestly impressive considering he got hit like that. Meanwhile, total disaster, wrecked car done for the day, finishes 36th with a DNF, and this is where it really starts to hurt if you are a fan. That is now back-to-back finishes of 34th or worse. Just a couple weeks ago, he was sitting second in the point standings. Now he leaves all the way down in 11th. That is not just a bad day. That is a massive momentum swing early in the 2026 season. After the race, you could hear the frustration in his voice. He talked about how much expectation they had coming into one of his tracks with Hardys on the car, and how they just did not show up when it mattered on Sunday, even though they can look fast music in practice. And honestly, that part hits because we have seen that pattern before. The good news for the timing. The Easter break is coming up, and that might be exactly what this team needs to reset mentally before heading to Bristol Motor Speedway on April 12th. But still, that moment with is going to be talked about all week, and I would not be surprised if drivers remember that next time they are around the 23 car. Now let's flip the page, because on the complete opposite end of the emotional spectrum, we got something special. Chase finally got it done. First win of the season, number 22 in his career, and it did not come easy. This was a straight-up strategy masterclass by crew chief Allen, and for most of the race, was not even dominating. He started 10th and spent a lot of time stuck outside the top 5. Meanwhile, was putting on a clinic, started on the pole and led 292 of the first 317 laps. It looked like race to lose, but then everything changed on lap 312. Makes the call to pit earlier than the other contenders. Music, a gamble, the kind of call that fans love when it works and question like crazy when it does not. And this time it worked perfectly. When the caution came out, suddenly had track position. Then on the restart, briefly took the lead by staying out, but quickly got around him and never looked back. He led the final 69 laps and held off by 0.565 seconds. That is pressure.